Yizzo, it's your boy Fly Rye. You're now tuning in to LRPtv podcast. We got a very special guest here, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself, boss man.
Everybody, if y'all don't know me, I'm Alex, Alpro,
Mm-hmm.
studio engineer.
Yep.
You know, that's who I am.
Yes,
You
sir.
know?
Yes, sir. Can we call you a legend?
A legend.
And
If that's how you feel,
at least in the 302, man, because
if that's how you feel like that, then
I do.
you can call
Because
me that.
back in the day, when niggas hit the studio, they always was saying, "Yo, we going to Alpro studio. We
Mm-hmm.
going here. We going to lay our shit down." And also, even myself and my cousin, we actually came to your studio and recorded some shit that you actually engineered and mixed and mastered, which we appreciate, man.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome, brother.
Yes, sir. So we gotta get your flowers on that for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with like the creative process, like you in the studio, and when you're in engineering, you're listening to the artist and trying to follow suit to what or they're liking of their music, or however you feel it sounds good. You feel me? Like,
So the creative process
Mhm.
that I do,
yeah,
okay. So when someone comes into the studio, the first thing that I do
yeah.
is make sure that the pop screen is sanitized. Seriously, That's one of the first
Why
things
is
I
that
do.
the first thing?
Because you know what I mean. When
Mhm.
you come into the studio,
Right.
like you know what I mean. Anybody that's watching, you want to make sure that you're not, getting COVID and stuff like that. You know
Right,
what I mean.
right.
But you know what I mean. But all jokes aside,
Mhm.
when the artists come into the studio, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is actually get their mic levels, make sure they're comfortable. Ask
Mhm.
them, do they want the lights off, light on? You know
Right.
what I mean? If they thirsty, they need some water and all that, just to make
Clear
sure
your
they
throat.
feel
No
comfortable.
diddy, no
Because it's
diddy.
very important when
Mhm.
you actually coming through that you feel comfortable, relaxed. You don't want to be all, stuff
Tense
like
and
that.
shit.
So that's one of the first things. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? If that's what you was referring to,
Yeah.
something like that.
So yeah, if so, you making sure that they right. You know what I'm saying? Because if
Yeah.
anything, if they in a good mood and if they ready to lay the, music down, they're comfortable as possible. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the right technique to use. You know what I'm saying?
And then another thing after that, I get their mic levels
Mhm.
because when you come into the studio, the headphone volume can be super loud or the vocals could be super loud from the previous client that came there. So I got to make sure I adjusted the way you want it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Adjust the mic because sometimes we got people that's like 5'10", 6'5". You know what I mean? So I
Niggas,
just got to make
boss
sure
baby
that
size.
yeah. So I got to make sure it's adjusted
My
for
mic's
you to
always
be
got to get
comfortable.
adjusted. But
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So that's part of the process.
Now, can you touch on like what artists you actually have produced for and engineered like throughout the tri-state area? Cause you got a
Um,
big catalog, man. Like you've been doing this for a very long time. Let's touch on that. Matter of
Mostly
fact, when you started.
everybody. Now, when I started,
Mhm.
of course, myself, because I was an artist back in the day. That's how I started doing the engineer. You know what I mean? Me and my singing group, plain and simple. Um, then it went from True Souls. I don't know if you know them. If anybody know them, shout out to True Souls. You know what I mean?
Okay, shout out to them. Shout out to them.
This is way back in the day, 2099, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Long time.
So recording them.
Mhm.
Um, it's just so many artists just touch base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over the years. You know what I
Well,
mean? I pretty much work with. I can't say everybody, but I work
Mhm.
with a lot of people.
No, that's definitely true.
Lad.
Shout out to Lad
Shout out
Brown.
to Lad Brown.
Mhm.
That's. I see y'all had Devontae on here.
Yep,
I
yep, yep.
recorded him. You know, I recorded Big Rock, Rizzy,
Oh yeah, we just had
Chuck
him up here. Shout out
50,
to Rizzy.
Chuck
You
50,
already?
Fly Guy Jai, Big Rock, um, Geno,
Shout
to
out to Geno. We
everybody,
trying to get my man up here for real. Yeah.
APV artists. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Shout out my squad. Um, I mean the list just goes on,
On and on
just
and on. That's
goes
what I'm saying. You have a
on. You know what I
huge
mean? And then
catalog.
I'm just throwing names out there, not
Mhm.
just on no favoritism. Shout out APV,
Mhm.
but But nah, just throwing names out there. You know what I mean? You know
Right.
what I mean? Just I don't want to throw out the wrong names and stuff like that. As far as they might not want to be mentioned because some people
Mhm.
honestly don't want other people know that they record at the studio.
Oh, they want to be low key with this shit.
Yeah.
I respect that though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Niggas
Some
need
people,
privacy on that.
because you know what I
Some
mean.
people don't want to be seen and shit.
Yeah.
Especially if they beefing or some type of issues. And I know in the
Exactly.
studio you probably witnessed a few
Exactly.
beef situations.
Some people be like, nah, I'm not going. Don't put me on live or watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on the internet, stuff like that, because they can be beefing with somebody else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, you know,
gotta cut the live off.
who else? Of course, a lot of Philadelphia artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Of course, Oskino.
Oh man, shout out to Oskino, man.
Oskino.
Definitely a legend.
Yeah. He's
Philly legend.
He's definitely a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of other different Philly artists on there, but yeah.
Any Jersey or
Jersey,
Maryland?
not yeah, Maryland and Jersey, but you know what I mean. I don't think anybody would know a bunch of different Jersey people from Delaware, but
yeah.
some guy named Prophet. He from Baltimore.
Okay.
You know what I mean. So
Shout
I
out
don't
to
know
him.
if y'all know him like that. Who else? It was this one guy album that I did from Philly. Everybody knew him back in the day. What is his name? It'll come to me.
Hey, we can get back to it, bro. It's all good.
You know I'm getting older. You know, I'm
don't do
59
that,
years old.
Don't do that, bad.
Nah, I'm joking.
You got that Benjamin Button.
Oh, good looking.
But as far as what inspired you to even start producing and engineering?
Just because I'm an artist. You know what I mean? I'm an artist myself. You know what I mean? So back in the day, I did a lot of music. You know, a lot of
Did
shows.
you sing? Did you rap?
Sing.
Okay.
Sing. Let me say something to y'all.
Oh man.
Nah,
we're gonna go viral.
I ain't gonna do it. But yeah. I sung back in the day. Me and my sing group, as I mentioned before. You know, and we was doing shows in Chester, and we was doing videos.
Oh, so I was on tour.
We was trying to get money. You know what I mean? Not trying to. We was getting money. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. Not like One of our models was like For You. I don't know if you remember the singing group, East 22nd Street or whatever.
Sound familiar?
Fred Reed. You know Fred Reed?
Yeah, I heard that.
So him and his group, you know what I mean? They was like big time back in the day. You know what I mean? So we was like.
Is he actually signed right now for Reed?
Actually,
or
I don't even know.
Under some management, I know he's definitely.
But we used to look at them while they was singing. You know what I mean? And we was like, whoa. You know what I mean? So I was going in doing the music. And then Dog Star came up. I know y'all know Elle Berner. You know what I mean? She actually produced and managed their group. You know what I mean? So around that time, a lot of singing groups was popping.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it went from that to like, let me get my own beats. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, you couldn't just go online and purchase music. You know what I mean? Beats like that. So I actually, start buying equipment.
What year was this around when you started?
It was still like 98. So singing, singing
98
was,
is crazy.
Singing was like 90, 93, 94, 95, that area. That's when I actually started getting my production right. You know what I mean? Buying equipment. You know what I mean? I go to work. I wouldn't take the money that I got and spend it on dumb stuff. It'd just be mostly equipment. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to make beats for my singing group. You know what I mean? Buying keyboards and doing studio stuff and everything like that. So it started from there. And then other people was like, like I mentioned True Souls earlier, the rap group.
Right.
They would come in and I started recording them. You know what I mean? And then I started recording other people. Then I'm like, oh, I'm an engineer. You know what I mean?
It just came.
I started going to,
It came naturally, basically.
Yeah, and I wanted to sound great. So I started going to the library, reading books. I read a bunch of books. You know what I mean? On how to mix and engineer.
See, kids, keep your head in the books, man. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, I go online and try to like get like how to, books and pamphlets and stuff like that.
Just the manuals that'll break it down to you.
I go to the library because, like I said, it wasn't really like that on the internet.
Yeah. So you definitely was doing your research though, without the internet.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm sure when the internet came, you was like a little relieved because like now you can have so much access to different, instrumentals and all that shit. So
yeah,
it's amazing.
Definitely.
Now, do you also make beats or produce beats?
I make beats too.
Okay, where did that come from?
Same thing.
Did you ever play any instruments, drums, anything?
I can play by ear.
Okay.
Like if you tell me a melody, you know what I mean. I can play it on the keyboard, then I can add
That's
chords
dope.
to
That's
it, pretty
dope.
much. You know what I mean.
That's
But
thorough.
lately I've been doing
Mm.
a lot of mixing and recording. You know
Which
what
you
I
are
mean.
actually amazing at. I can myself say that because
Oh yeah,
you mix and master some
Good
music for
living.
me. So
Thank you, I appreciate
definitely,
that.
definitely one of the best, man, for sure in Delaware. Like I said, you're definitely a legend with it. So
Thank you,
I'm saying,
appreciate it,
God give you
appreciate
kudos
it.
on that, bro, for real.
Mhm.
And also like so. What's the bad part about engineering and producing? Like, what's some of the bad things that may enter your studio or you the scene like kind of like?
Bad things. It's a lot of bad things.
It's a lot of
It's a
bad
lot of
things.
great things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a lot of great things.
it's a lot of
But
greatness.
you know, I would touch on some of the bad things, but
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna touch on a lot of it
Yeah,
because I
no,
want to
no, no,
talk about a lot of
yeah,
great
I know
things.
it's a lot of things we can't just
But
Mhm.
a lot of bad things would be, you know, you got people with super inflated egos, and
Tell me about it.
you really can't tell them nothing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and or it can be another person beefing with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's and not only that, you have some artists actually that will actually call and be like, "Yo, I'm coming through," and they don't come through.
Oh man, the no call, no
No
shows
call.
or the no
It's a
shows.
bunch of no call, no show, or it's a bunch of
But
you
you
know.
ever feel like I'm the one that's presenting this privilege? I'll bring you onto my platform, wherever it may be. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, you're not okie dokie me. You at the end of the day, because I'm established. You know what? Well, he try to, push you and put you out there. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Or you get the artist is like, yo, I'm a beast. You know what I mean? You gotta do me. You gotta record me for free. You feel me?
know. Going for free is crazy. When
Like
I have all the utensils to.
I'm gonna take you on the road with me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I get a lot of artists. I'm gonna take you on the road with me. You gonna be my engineer. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Then
Selling dreams.
and then 3 months later, you don't hear nothing back from 'em. Or you know what I'm saying? Or they just stop their career. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Because
Comes to a
life
complete.
happens, circumstances happen.
Nah,
So
that's
you
real
feel me?
shit. Shit happens
But
in life.
it's a lot of crazy things that go down. People
Mm-hmm.
they want to be protected, so they bring. Sometimes people want to bring their firearm.
Or weapons and shit.
You know what I mean? And some people just be scared. You know what I mean? They be
Mm-hmm.
like, seriously, they just be scared. They like,
Mm-hmm.
I got my firearm. People be just, I don't know if somebody gonna come hit my
I got
studio.
yeah.
It's not
I
even
might be in
like
the
that.
booth one day. Niggas might try to shoot
Oh
up the
no!
booth.
See, that's why I do mostly private sessions, unless you don't want it to be private. But all my sessions be private.
Mm-hmm.
Every last session. So you're
And,
not gonna get people that's just gonna walk in there unless you see my son.
right.
You know what I mean?
They gotta check in
You're
first.
not going to see nobody that that's going to cause any type of harm or
Mm-hmm.
people from around the block. You know what I mean? If I do have a session I run over,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, the other clients got to wait in the other room
Right.
until my session, so they won't even know if you even downstairs or not, whatever.
Okay. So you got everything nice and strategically put together and
Yeah,
shit. So
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
that's when do you normally like take bookings and stuff like that.
I take bookings anytime that you want to book. You know what I mean? If you want to book, I can take it, but I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open Monday through Sunday, every
Monday through
day,
Sunday,
all
solid,
day.
solid.
Monday through Sunday,
Consistently working.
consistently,
That's how it's supposed
consistently.
to be, man. For real.
hmm
And also, like, if people was to look for you, like, what platforms can they find you on?
Social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I got a website. It's called simplybooklyme.com. You
Okay.
know what I mean? If you don't know what I just said, just go on my Instagram.
You gotta simplify it
Go
and
on
break
my
that shit down for the
yeah,
slow
just go on
ones.
my Facebook. Find me on my Facebook. You know what I mean? Click the link. And, you know what I mean? If we can just do it like that.
So, bro, let's touch base on, like, back in the day when you was actually doing music and stuff like that in your
hmm
group. Let's talk about that, the
So
year and then how it all started.
around 96,
Mm-hmm.
97. Um, after doing the Bang Boom Entertainment, True Souls, I know I mentioned them before. So doing the studio stuff that we did, they actually land a Jones with Young One. You ever heard Young One?
Young one.
This is back in the day. He
It
actually
sounds
did.
familiar, man.
He
I
did.
got to do my research
He
on
was
that.
messing with DMX and everything back in the day.
Okay, got you.
So after they had left, I actually, me and my brother Jay Hobbs, shout out to my brother Jay Hobbs. You know
Shout
what I
out
mean?
Jay
Where the
Hobbs.
cameras at. Yo, shout out to Jay Hobbs. So fast forwarded 10 years, 2007. So me and my brother Jay Hobbs actually got together and we formed something called Delawares the Movement. So what we did was we gathered at least over 65 artists in Delaware, and we put them on one track. And I said, you know what? What I want them to do is I want them to come in my studio,
right,
and meet each other. But the artists that I wanted to meet each other, they was from different town sets. Like they was from East Side, West Side, North Side.
gotcha.
So I had North Side artists working with East Side artists. West Side artists working with South Bridge artists, and so forth.
Had them all tangled.
Had them all together. You know what I mean? We came up with the Delaware the Movement. I had my cousin Smooth Sean on there. My cousin Sage Gutter. I had it was so many artists. B Dot. I don't know if y'all know B Dot. So these are all artists that was popping back then. You know what I mean? And it was so popping that we actually made the 55 Hours News Journal, and it was it was a big spread.
So had to be a big thing back in the day.
Yeah. I took a picture with in the hood. So they was like, yo, I want to, the news journal was like, I want to actually put you in a news journal. And I was like, you know what? You can put me in a news journal, but I want to add all the artists that was with me. But I couldn't get all 65, but I got about 25 people when they all came to the photo shoot, and we was all in the paper all together. You know what I mean? That actually kind of unified the city. You know?
And then you just showing that much support for the artists you work with that's insane.
Yeah,
that's a big thing for sure.
Yeah, that definitely unified the city, and actually it unified a bunch of friendships and doing music. And that's after that I wanted to be more about that. You know what I mean?
And when you say city, you're speaking on
Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that furthermore. So then it went from that to doing my APV, Alpro Visionary. I know y'all heard me say APV a couple times, but so I took a group of artists that I didn't even know, except for Jay Haas and maybe a couple other people. And I brought them together once again, and this was like 2014, 15, and we all started doing music together, and anything that they didn't know or I didn't know, we all helped each other. You know what I mean? And
I like that
it was a wonderful thing, and that's what I'm about.
Support and that help within your group is like, you know what I mean?
So those are certain things
that's how you prosper.
I aspire to do that with gospel artists and do that with different people around.
How was that working with gospel artists? Like, was that like a different switch to you? Because you normally do rappers and singers. So
gospel artists is cool to work with. It's pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing. I don't get too many rowdy people at the studio. You know what I mean? Unless
less firearms.
yeah. Unless they they turned up when they get there. But you know what I mean? The gospel artists is pretty much the same thing. They come in, do their music, and I'm like, all right, what you want to do? Sing it this way, and they ask me for their opinions, and they record. It's the same thing.
When you actually like do that, like put your opinions into the artist's music, like
oh yeah, all the
time. Do you feel like your idea ends up being more better than the actual original idea of theirs?
You know what? That's a great question. Everybody's creative, so I can't say my opinion is better. My job is actually to get whatever you rapping or thinking about onto the project. You know what I mean? And that's actually very important. Let me touch one more thing before we get out of here. So, men's mental health is very, very serious. So the suicide rate is like 3 to 4 times higher than women. It's a lot of people who didn't passed away, and and I would say that when you are an artist, and not even just being an artist, when you have something that you're going through, like family issues, it can be, whatever situation, homelessness, job, relationships, not getting money, it's always a great thing to actually talk to somebody, and a lot of men, especially, can't talk to people. You know what I mean? You can't come to another man and be like, "Yo, you know what I mean? I
It's
got
not
a
a lot of
problem with this."
advocates out there
You
that
know what I mean?
actually.
Especially being, Delaware. Some Delawarean is got that crab in the barrel mentality. You
Facts.
tell
You
them
ain't
something
lying.
about whatever that you need, they're gonna be like, "He a man. He got to do it himself."
Mm-hmm.
So, um, come into the studio, whatever you have on your mind. I get a lot of artists that actually come to the studio just for therapy, and they feel so much better, so much weight have lifted from them when they come to the studio and record. So it's not always about this dude 50 years old and what he doing trying to rap and whatever the case may be. It's nothing. It's not even
None of that
about that.
matters. Yeah.
It's about actually being able to find a platform to actually whatever you got going on inside of you,
It's therapeutic.
to the therapeutic, to actually talk to somebody, and I'm just here to listen. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, sometimes the creative process is not even for me to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's artists that might rap and they not projecting a lot, or they might just saying it a little, but they're actually getting off their chest, and then I can actually figure out which one are they doing. Are they trying to do it to
Mm-hmm.
get a record deal, or they just got something inside to let it out. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, just go ahead, let's go ahead and vent, get it out, and then once they get out, they just so happy to show it to their friends and their family and all of that.
It's like a
So
relief.
yeah, so there's a lot of people that's home and going through a lot of problems and everything, and sometimes if you can't afford a therapist, go to the studio. Come to my studio. I'm a therapist. I'm not going to judge you.
Studio is very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. You know what I mean?
That's
So
it.
it's very important to whatever you got on your mind to at least get
And
it
like you
out.
said, mental health is definitely something important to touch on, and everybody needs like some type of mental advocate to help them push through whatever they're going through in life. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
everybody's going through traumatic things, and some people are stronger than others. So they need to be able to deal with it in a certain way. So once again, man, we appreciate you, bro, for coming up here, man. Once again, I'm gonna say you're a legend. I'm standing on that, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's LRPtv, man.
Thank
You
you.
over and out.
Appreciate it. Oh, and one more
Oh,
thing.
go
One
ahead, go
more
ahead.
thing. One more thing. I
Mhm.
appreciate y'all just bringing me. You know what I mean? It's an
Yes, sir.
amazing thing that you're doing. You know what I mean? And I hope and I pray that
Mhm.
that you actually excel and do everything that you set your mind to.
Thank you,
You know what
bro.
I
We
mean?
appreciate
Everybody
that,
listening
man.
to this,
Mhm.
keep God first. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Just keep God first, because you know what I mean. A lot of times, we all fall short.
Mhm.
And then we all, we go through mental breakdown. I met a lot of artists who
Mhm.
are mentally, coming through the studio, and they have different things going wrong with them mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just keep God first. And
Stay
if
prayed up.
stay prayed up, and if you got a woman at home and all of that, you know what I mean. Just support your men. While they come into the studio. You know what I mean.
Hell yeah. We definitely. They
Just
definitely.
support.
You're supposed to be our backbone, so we need that support system.
You know what I mean. But like I
Absolutely.
said, keep God first. You know what I mean.
Mhm.
Stay prayed up, and I just thank y'all for
Mhm.
actually having me here. You know
Nah,
what I
we
mean.
thank
Shout out
you,
to all
bro.
the artists that's been on here. You know what I mean. Like I said,
Absolutely.
APV,
Shout
holla
out
at
to
me.
them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, this LRPtv podcast, man. Shout out to my boy Pro, man. Legend. Delaware legend, man. We out, man. Appreciate the support.